Good morning students, I am Maushmi Prasad and creator of this channel Digital Generation. This channel is regarding chapter wise preparation for both ICSE and CBSE students. I hope you will get best knowledge and explanation from this channel. Today we are going to study about the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Metals and non-metals show different chemical properties. So first we will study the chemical properties of metals and then we will compare it with the chemical properties of non-metals. So first let's study the chemical properties of metals. Number 1. Reaction of metals with air or oxygen. Metals reacts with oxygen and produces metallic oxide. This metallic oxide is normally basic in nature and thus when this metallic oxide is dissolved in water, it produces an alkali and thus it changes red litmus solution blue. The vigor of reaction of metal with air depends on the chemical reactivities of the metals. So first we will study the reaction of reactive metals with air or oxygen. The most reactive metal like potassium, sodium and lithium reacts with air or oxygen at room temperature and produces their respective metallic oxides. This reaction of high reactive metals with oxygen takes place vigorously and thus it catches fire. So let's see what happens when sodium and potassium reacts with oxygen at room temperature. When sodium and potassium reacts with oxygen at room temperature, the reaction takes place vigorously and sodium oxide or potassium oxide is produced respectively. And these sodium oxide and potassium oxide are basic in nature. But the reaction between sodium or potassium with oxygen is so vigorous that it catches fire. For this reason, the metals sodium, potassium and even lithium are stored under kerosene. So, to prevent the reaction of these metals with oxygen, water and carbon dioxide. So, let's see the equation what happens when sodium and potassium reacts with oxygen at room temperature. When sodium or potassium reacts with oxygen at room temperature, then it produces sodium or potassium oxide. This metallic oxide is basic in nature. Basic oxide, and thus when it dissolved in water, it produces alkali and hence turns red litmus solution blue. But the reaction between this sodium and oxygen is vigorous reaction. So when sodium or potassium reacts with oxygen, it often catches fire. And for this reason only, sodium and potassium and even lithium are stored under kerosene to avoid this reaction. Most of the metallic oxides are insoluble in water except sodium oxide, potassium oxide and magnesium oxide. And this sodium oxide is dissolved in water, then it produces sodium hydroxide. This sodium oxide turns red litmus blue. Thus we can say that metallic oxides are basic in nature. Now let's see the reaction of second metal, magnesium, with oxygen. Magnesium also reacts with oxygen but it requires heat. It does not react at normal temperature. So when magnesium ribbon is heated in a burner, then dazzling white flame is produced and it produces white color powder of magnesium oxide. This magnesium oxide is also soluble in water and thus it produces magnesium hydroxide which turns red litmus solution blue. As heat is required for burning of magnesium to react with oxygen, so we can say that magnesium is less reactive than sodium and potassium. So let's see the equation of reaction of magnesium with oxygen. When magnesium reacts with oxygen, heat is required and it produces white color powder of magnesium oxide. When magnesium burns in oxygen, it produces dazzling white flame. This magnesium oxide, when reacts with water, it is soluble in water and produces magnesium hydroxide and it turns red litmus solution blue as because it is basic in nature. Now we will study the reaction of aluminium with oxygen. Aluminium burns in oxygen on heating and produces aluminium oxide. The reaction of aluminium with oxygen takes place less readily than that of magnesium. So we can say that aluminium is less reactive than magnesium. Here is the equation of the reaction of aluminium with oxygen. When aluminium reacts with oxygen, then it gives aluminium oxide. Now, so far we have studied that metallic oxides are basic oxides, but aluminum oxide is called amphoteric oxide because aluminum oxide sometimes behave as basic oxide and sometimes as acidic oxide. So, the two metals which produces these amphoteric oxides are aluminum and zinc. Aluminum and zinc produces oxides which are amphoteric oxides. That is, when they react with acid, they behave as basic oxide and produces salt plus water. And again, when this zinc oxide or aluminum oxides reacts with base, then it behaves as acidic oxide and also produces salt plus water. So, this aluminum oxide, when reacts with acid, acid is of course dilute acid, and it gives salt plus water. Salt plus water. Here it is reacting with acid. So here aluminum oxide is behaving as basic oxide. We know that when acid reacts with base, it gives salt plus water. So here it is basic oxide. Again, in the second reaction, when aluminum oxide reacts with base, sodium hydroxide is a base, then it behaves as acidic oxide and produces salt plus water. Salt is sodium aluminate 2NaAlO2 plus H2O. Now let's see the reaction of zinc with oxygen. Zinc reacts with oxygen or air on strong heating and produces zinc oxide. The reaction of zinc with oxygen occurs less readily than that of aluminium. So we can say that zinc is less reactive than aluminium. Zinc is also an amphoteric oxide. When zinc reacts with oxygen, then it gives zinc oxide. This zinc oxide is also amphoteric oxide. This zinc oxide, when reacts with acid, then it gives salt plus water, zinc chloride plus water. Here zinc oxide is acting as basic oxide because it is reacting with acid to produce salt plus water. Again, when zinc oxide reacts with sodium hydroxide, that is a base, it produces salt, sodium Na2, ZNO2, sodium zincate plus water. Here zinc oxide is acting as acidic oxide, and we know that acid plus base is equal to salt plus water. So zinc and aluminium produces amphoteric oxide, and zinc oxide and aluminum oxides are amphoteric oxides. Now we will study the reaction of iron with oxygen. Iron does not burn in air even on strong heating because the ignition temperature of iron is very high. So it does not burn in air. But iron reacts with oxygen to produce iron 2,3 oxides. Let's see the reaction. When iron reacts with oxygen, then it produces iron 2,3 oxide, Fe3O4. The reaction of iron with oxygen takes place less readily than that of zinc. So we can say that iron is less reactive than zinc. Now when iron reacts with oxygen, it produces iron 2,3 oxide, that is Fe3O4. Iron does not burn in oxygen because iron has high ignition temperature. But one thing here is to be noted that when iron filings are sprinkled in the flame of the burner, then the sprinkle burns vigorously. This is because iron filings reach their ignition temperature as they are comparatively smaller in size and they gain large surface area for the reaction. So iron filings burns vigorously in air, but iron does not burn in air because of its high ignition temperature and hence it has high molecular force of attraction. Now we will study the reaction of copper with oxygen. Copper does not burn in air even on strong heating, but on prolonged heating, copper reacts with oxygen and produces black color powder of copper oxide. So let's see the reaction. When copper reacts with oxygen on strong heating, then it produces black color copper oxide or cuprous oxide. The reaction of copper with oxygen occurs less readily than that of iron. So we can say that copper is less reactive than iron. The metals like silver and gold do not react with oxygen even on strong heating. So they are the least reactive metal, or we can say that they are non-reactive metal. One thing we must remember that the metals like magnesium, aluminum, zinc and lead reacts at ordinary temperature with oxygen and produces their respective oxides as a thin layer. This thin layer of their oxides prevents further oxidation of this metal, or we can say that this thin layer of their oxides protects the metal from corrosion. So we will summarize the reaction of the metals with oxygen. Potassium is more reactive than sodium, and sodium is more reactive than lithium, and lithium is more reactive than calcium, and calcium is more reactive than magnesium, and magnesium is more reactive than aluminum, and aluminum is more reactive than zinc, and zinc is more reactive than iron, and iron is more reactive than copper, and copper is more reactive than silver and gold. So we can see that these three metals, potassium, sodium and lithium, they are highly reactive metal and reacts at room temperature with oxygen. And magnesium reacts with oxygen on heating. Aluminum and zinc reacts with oxygen on strong heating. Iron does not burn in oxygen, but it reacts with oxygen on strong heating and produces iron 2,3 oxide. Very strong heating. Copper reacts with prolonged heating with oxygen. This silver and gold do not react with oxygen even on strong heating. Now we will study the reaction of non-metals with oxygen. Non-metals reacts with oxygen and produces acidic or neutral oxides. Non-metallic oxides are covalent compounds and they are formed by sharing of electrons. So they do not contain any oxide ions. Now we will study the reaction of non-metals with oxygen. Number 1. Carbon, when reacts with oxygen, then it produces carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is acidic oxide because when carbon dioxide is dissolved in water, then it produces carbonic acid. And thus it turns blue litmus solution red. Blue to red as because it is acidic oxide. Second non-metal, sulfur, also burns in oxygen and produces pungent smelling gas known as sulfur dioxide. So if we take yellow color non-metal in a deflagrating spoon and heat it in a burner, then we will see pungent smelling gas of sulfur dioxide is produced. And if this gas is stored in a gas jar and then if we dissolve it in water, then we will see that this sulfur dioxide, when dissolved in water, produces sulfurous acid. And as it produces sulfurous acid, so it turns blue litmus solution red. Sulfur dioxide gas can also be tested by using moist blue litmus paper, but not dry blue litmus paper, because non-metallic oxide like sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, they are also known as acid anhydrides. As they are dissolved in water, they produce acids and thus turns blue litmus solution or moist blue litmus paper into red. Sulfur dioxide gas, when is passed through moist blue litmus paper, then the moist blue litmus paper changes its color to red. but place it near the mouth of the sulfur dioxide gas, then we will see that no reaction takes place as because no acid is formed. Only in presence of water, non-metallic oxides like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide can behave as acid. But in absence of water, they do not behave as acid and thus they do not convert blue litmus paper red. So non-metallic oxides are also called acid anhydride. Phosphorus is another non-metal which reacts spontaneously with air and produces phosphorus pentoxide. To protect this white phosphorus from oxidation, we keep this white phosphorus under water. As because phosphorus is non-metal and so it does not react with water, but to prevent the reaction of white phosphorus with oxygen, they are kept under water. Now we will study about the neutral oxides. When carbon burns in insufficient oxygen, then it produces carbon monoxide. When carbon burns in presence of insufficient oxygen, then it produces carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is neutral oxide. Similarly, nitrogen monoxide, dinitrogen monoxide and hydrogen oxide or water, these are all neutral oxide as because when they are dissolved in water, they do not produce acid and thus they do not change the color of blue litmus solution to red. One thing here is to be noted that non-metallic oxides are covalent compounds and they are formed by the sharing of electrons, so they do not contain any oxide ions. In our next video, we will study the reaction of metal and non-metal with water. There is a good news for you that Digital Generation has come up with another new stage, quizzing with Digital Generation for your MCQs. In this channel, we will discuss the MCQs from physics, chemistry and biology according to your syllabus and we will present it separately and regularly every week. So keep watching Quizzing with Digital Generation for your MCQs. Thank you for watching my video, and if you find my video useful, please do like and share my video and subscribe my channel to get the latest update of my videos. And if you have any doubt regarding this topic, comment below. I will try to answer as early as possible.